Hello, brothers and sisters. Father Mitch here. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Heritage Arts Distance Learning Programs. We've got a few of them. And I want to use this as an illustration. So, what you're looking at is you're looking at my little miniature log cabin. It's not quite done yet. As you can see, I'm putting on the wood shingles now. Why am I doing it this way? So many people said, oh, well, you could have built yourself a stick building and put sheetrock in it, and that would have been faster and cheaper. But I didn't want to do it faster and cheaper. So there's lots of ways that we could do the distance learning program. And I'm sure that there's plenty of ways that would be way easier. But that's not what the distance learning program is all about. Let me explain. The first thing you need to know is that all of the Heritage Arts distance learning programs work in basically the same way. You have to keep a training journal, and you have to actually train. And then you have to make notes about your training. You have to write down in the training journal what you did and what you learned from it. And that might be a couple of sentences, or it might be more than a sentence. Here are some of my journals through about 2012 or so. And then here are some of the journals since that time. You might decide to write an entire paragraph or even a page for the day. You know, if you're in the Heritage Wildwood distance learning program for outdoor skills, then you might go for a walk and say, you know, today I spotted some tracks and I couldn't identify them. And I took a picture and I looked it up in a book and I discovered that these were the tracks of a possum. Something like that. Or let's say you are in the Heritage Self-Defense Distance Learning Program. Maybe you work the heavy bag and you put in 3 rounds at maximum power. Or maybe you did some shadow wrestling. And then you'd make a note in your training journal. I'd put in 3 rounds of shadow wrestling, working on short sit out, long sit out, and my reverses. And you did those for speed, things like that. And you make your notes about what you did. And then after you make your notes, at the end of each month, you scan your training journals and then you email them in. And then your mentor, and that's probably going to be me because we're kind of a small outfit, and I'll look at those and then I will send you back more training notes. What the distance learning programs are not is a way to distribute free stuff to people. I think many people who sign up think they're just going to get a free book or a free training program. What we don't want is we don't want to send you stuff that doesn't get used, that doesn't get touched. So often, training programs today tend to go by the app-based model where you click things and you push buttons. But that's not what this is all about. What if the Declaration of Independence had been a Word document? What if the Holy Bible had been a shared Google Doc? Study after study shows that people who take handwritten notes perform better in classes than people who take electronic notes. Something happens between the mind, the eye, and the hand. And there's no substitute for that. And the reason is that when you write something down, in order to do so, you must frame your thoughts fully. So, writing is thinking, and thinking is writing. Now, I want to tell you, only about 5% of people who sign up for the distance learning programs actually participate in them. That is, they actually do the work, actually write their journals, and actually scan and send them in for review. And we're okay with that because the people who do the work and actually participate, those 5% all report life-changing transformations. And those people almost uniformly become lifetime friends with me and with other members of the organization. So what you need to do is have an entirely different way of thinking. That's part of what the program is about. Almost everything that we do here at Heritage Arts is a 19th century sort of outlook. It's much slower, and it requires actual engagement. Now, why does it work? So you might ask yourself, what makes this so great? Are we Luddites? Are we backward thinking? Not at all. Obviously, we're not backward thinking, because if we were, we wouldn't want you to scan them in. We'd have you mail them in. We're not anti-technology here at Heritage Arts. What we want to do is make sure that we are using the technology in the same way that you might use a pen to write with or a hammer to drive a nail. What we don't want is the technology to use us. The first thing that you need to do when you apply to one of the Heritage Arts distance learning programs is you need to slow down. You need to be more relaxed. And you need to step into a different mindset. We're a small shop. We're a small charity. And so I still have a full-time job. I still work probably 40 to 50 hours a week at my day job. And I run a charity. And I'm a dad and I'm a granddad. And I have a lot going on. And I customize the program for every single person who applies. And I run all those programs. And I have all that emailed to answer. And so you're going to need to relax. You're going to need to slow down. And you're going to need to step into a different way of thinking and interacting and being. Once you sign up for one of the programs, I'll make an evaluation. I'll ask you a few questions. I'll try to adapt the program to suit your specific needs and interests, whichever one you sign up for. If you sign up for the fitness program, especially if you sign up for weight loss or you have zero experience, then I may have a number of questions. In fact, I could maybe ask you up to 75 different questions. It depends upon what you're asking for. Once I evaluate it and I give you your program back, your first lessons back, then you'll begin to train and you can ask me questions. You can set up a phone call if you'd like. We use Calendly is the program that we use. And you can set up a meeting with me and then we can have a phone conference if needed. Then what we'll do is each month you'll send me your scans and then I'll give you a new set of assignments and I'll evaluate what you've done thus far. It's not graded. You're not going to get an A, a B, a C, a D, an E, or an F. That's not how this works. It's a dialogue. It's a conversation. And I'm going to learn from you too. I still learn things every single day. I am not the final arbiter of all wisdom. I'm just a mentor who wants to help you realize your goals. What I do is probably a lot closer to being a life coach than anything else. Anyway, I encourage you to apply, but I also encourage you to relax, to settle in. And this program works across months and years. It does not work across minutes or seconds. Welcome to the Heritage Arts Distance Learning Programs.